welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into some foundational stories, epic sagas, really.
Absolutely. We've got these incredible narratives lined up. Faith, family, destiny, it's all in there.
And you've pulled together some fascinating excerpts for us.
That's right. And the idea today isn't just to, retell the stories you might already know.
We want to go deeper.
Exactly. We want to pull out those key insights, understand why they still resonate so much.
And maybe find some surprising details we usually miss.
Precisely. We're tracing this line from, ancient Ur all the way to Canaan and Egypt, too.
Yeah.
Some pivotal figures.
Okay, sounds great. Let's dive in. We're starting with probably one of those famous names ever, Abraham. Lived quite a while after the flood.
Yeah, about 350 years later, often called God's friend, his story really kicks off in Ur.
Ur. Now, that place was significant, wasn't it? Not just some random town.
Oh, definitely not. Ur was a major Mesopotamian city, sophisticated, advanced for its time, big temples, ziggurats.
And lots of gods being worshipped there.
Right. Which makes God's command to Abraham even more, radical. His family still served Jehovah, which was unusual there.
So God tells him, leave your home, your relatives, go where I show you.
And it's this unknown country. It's a huge ask, leaving not just family, but this highly developed, familiar world.
What exactly? He didn't even know the destination yet.
No, and his obedience, it was immediate. That's actually why he's called God's friend, that level of trust right from the start.
So he sets out, takes his father Terah, his nephew Lot, his wife Sarah.
Yep, they leave Ur, head for Haran first. Terah dies there.
But Haran wasn't the final stop.
No, Canaan was the destination. And when they get there, God makes this incredible promise.
This is the land I will give to your children.
Think about that. Abraham's nearly 100. Sarah's 90.
And they have no children.
None. Yet God also blesses him materially. Huge flocks, hundreds of servants. It's this, paradox, isn't it?
Land and descendants promised to an old, childless couple. It does seem impossible.
It sets a theme, really. Divine promises often look completely illogical from a human perspective.
And this promise, it really puts his faith to the test. Especially when, somehow, Isaac is born a year later. Abraham's 100.
Sarah's 90. It's a miracle. Proof God keeps his word.
But then comes maybe the hardest test imaginable.
The command to sacrifice Isaac.
His only son. The son the whole promise depended on.
It's just staggering. The emotional weight, the apparent contradiction. God promised a nation through Isaac.
They now ask him to sacrifice him.
But Abraham prepares to obey. He trusts God so much that, the implication is he believed God could even raise Isaac from the dead to fulfill the promise.
That's absolute trust, isn't it? Beyond logic.
It really is. And just as he's about to do it, an angel stops him.
Right. The voice is, don't hurt the boy. Now I know that you have faith in me.
Because you have not held back your son, your only one, from me. The test was about that willingness, that faith.
Incredible. So after that, Isaac grows up. Time for him to marry.
And Abraham is very specific about this. He tells his most trusted servant, go back to Haran, find a wife among my relatives.
Not from the Canaanites.
Definitely not. They worship different gods, had different values. It was about preserving that spiritual lineage, the one tied to the promise.
So it wasn't just about keeping it in the family. It was about shared faith.
Primarily, yes. So the servant goes, takes 10 camels, quite a caravan.
And he prays at a well for a sign.
A very specific sign. He asks God to show him the right woman by having her offer water, not just to him, but to all his camels, too.
Which is a lot of work.
Yeah.
10 thirsty camels.
It's a huge amount. It showed incredible generosity and willingness to help. And then Rebecca appears.
And she does exactly that. Offers water to him and all the camels.
Just as he prayed. And then he finds out who she is, daughter of Bethuel, who is the son of Abraham's brother Nahor.
Wow. The perfect connection.
Exactly. She agrees to go, leaves her family to marry Isaac, a man she's never met.
And the text says Isaac found comfort in her, especially after his mother Sarah had died.
Yes, about 3 years earlier. So it brings that part of the family story forward, connecting back to the promise.
Okay, moving on a generation. We get to Jacob, Abraham's grandson. And Jacob has a big family.
He does. 12 sons and a daughter, Dinah.
Let's see if I remember. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin, 12.
You got it. Most of them born while Jacob was living with Laban, his father-in-law.
And sadly, Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife, died giving birth to the youngest, Benjamin,
That's right. And these 12 sons, this is monumental.
because they become the 12 tribes of Israel.
Exactly, the very foundation of the nation. We're moving from one man's promise to the beginnings of a people.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it? There was that trouble with Dinah.
No, definitely not smooth. Remember Abraham's caution about the Canaanites?
Right. Don't mix with those who worship false gods.
Well, Dinah decides to go visit some local Canaanite girls, and things go terribly wrong.
She's assaulted by a man named Shechem.
Yes. And her brothers are furious, understandably, but their reaction, it's extreme.
Simeon and Levi, specifically. They trick Shechem and his entire city.
Deception and then violence. They kill all the men in a surprise attack. Jacob is horrified, angry at what they did.
And the root cause was Dinah ignoring that principle about associations.
But that's how Jacob saw it, yes. It really drives home this recurring theme. Who you associate with matters, and crossing those lines, especially over fundamental beliefs, can lead to disaster, real-world consequences.
A tough lesson. Now let's shift to one of those 12 sons, Joseph. He's only 17 when his story takes a dramatic turn.
Yes, his older brothers, jealous of him, sell him into slavery. He ends up in Egypt.
Sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official under Pharaoh.
Right, and Joseph, despite everything, he excels. He's trustworthy, capable. Potiphar puts him in charge of his whole household.
But then trouble finds him again. Potiphar's wife.
She tries to seduce him. Joseph refuses, famously saying it would be a sin against God and against his master.
So she falsely accuses him.
Exactly. And Potiphar, maybe believing her, maybe just needing to save face, throws Joseph in prison.
Yet even in prison, his character shines through.
It does. He gains the trust of the jailer, ends up overseeing other prisoners, and it's there he interprets the dreams.
Ah, yes, the cupbearer and the baker. Pharaoh's officials.
He tells them what their dreams mean. One will be restored to his position, the other executed. All thanks to God's insight.
And it happens just as he predicted.
Within 3 days, yes. But the cupbearer, once he's freed,
He forgets all about Joseph.
completely. For 2 whole years, Joseph languishes in prison, forgotten.
Until Pharaoh starts having bad dreams.
Very disturbing dreams. 7 fat, healthy cows eaten by 7 thin, sickly ones. Then 7 full heads of grain swallowed by 7 thin, withered ones.
And nobody in the Egyptian court has a clue what they mean.
None of the wise men or magicians can figure it out. That's when the cupbearer finally remembers.
Okay, there was this Hebrew guy in prison.
Exactly. So Joseph is brought out, cleans himself up, stands before Pharaoh.
And he gives God the credit, then interprets the dreams.
7 years of abundance are coming, he says. Followed by 7 years of terrible famine, it'll grip the whole land.
But he doesn't just interpret, he offers a solution.
Wise counsel. Appoint someone smart to collect food during the good years, store it up for the bad years.
And Pharaoh sees the wisdom and sees something special in Joseph.
He sees God's spirit in him, and he says, who better to do this job than you?
So, boom. From prisoner to prime minister, basically.
Pretty much. Second most powerful man in all of Egypt, an incredible reversal of fortune.
And then the famine hits, just as predicted. It's severe, even back in Canaan.
So severe that Jacob sends 10 of his sons, Joseph's older brothers, down to Egypt to buy grain.
And they end up standing before Joseph, bowing down to him.
Just like in his boyhood dreams, he recognizes them immediately.
But they have no idea who he is.
None at all. He's older, dressed as a high-ranking Egyptian, speaking Egyptian through an interpreter, probably.
So he decides to test them, see if they've changed.
Yes. It's quite elaborate. He accuses them of being spies, eventually insists they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, back with them.
Jacob's favorite, the one he was terrified to lose.
Exactly. Reluctantly, Jacob agrees. They return with Benjamin, and Joseph sets up the final test.
The silver cup. He has it hidden in Benjamin's sack.
His servants find it, accuse Benjamin of theft. The brothers are distraught.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Judah steps forward.
Yes, Judah, remember him. He was involved in selling Joseph years ago. Now he offers himself as a slave in Benjamin's place.
He tells Joseph how much Jacob loves Benjamin, how losing him would kill their father.
It's this incredibly moving speech showing genuine love, responsibility, a willingness to sacrifice for his brother and father.
And Joseph sees it. He sees they have changed. They aren't the cruel, callous brothers they once were.
That's the turning point. Seeing Judah's selflessness, Joseph can't hold back anymore. He reviews himself.
Must have been an absolutely stunning moment.
Imagine. Tears, confusion, then reconciliation. It's powerful because it shows real change, real forgiveness. It preserves the family, the lineage.
Okay, one more key figure for today. Moses. His story starts in even darker circumstances.
Very dark. Pharaoh has ordered all newborn Hebrew boys to be killed. Moses' mother hides him for 3 months.
But she can't hide him forever.
No. So she puts him in a waterproof basket, places it among the reeds in the Nile River. His older sister, Miriam, watches from a distance.
And who finds him?
Pharaoh's own daughter, coming down to bathe. She sees the basket, hears the baby crying.
And feels pity for him.
Yes. Miriam cleverly approaches and asks if she should find a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby.
And she fetches Moses' own mother.
Incredible, isn't it? So his own mother gets to nurse him. Then he's adopted by Pharaoh's daughter.
So he grows up in the Egyptian palace, a Hebrew raised as Egyptian royalty.
The ultimate insider-outsider. Wise, educated in the Egyptian court, but he knew his true heritage, knew his parents were slaves.
And that knowledge eventually leads to conflict.
When he's about 40, he goes out to see his people suffering. He sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave.
And Moses intervenes, kills the Egyptian, tries to hide it. But the next day, he sees 2 Hebrews fighting, tries to break it up.
And one of them spills the beans. Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?
Exactly. Moses realizes his secret is out. Pharaoh hears about it, wants him dead.
So Moses has to run, flees Egypt altogether.
Ends up in Midian, becomes a shepherd. Years pass. He's tending sheep near Mount Horeb, also known as Sinai.
And then he sees something impossible.
A bush on fire, but the flames aren't consuming it. It just keeps burning.
He goes closer to investigate.
And a voice calls out from the bush. God's voice, through an angel. Tells him to take off his sandals. He's on holy ground.
And God identifies himself.
Yes. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He says he's seen the suffering in Egypt.
And he's sending Moses to fix it.
Sending Moses back to Pharaoh to lead the Israelites out of slavery and into the promised land, Canaan. Wow, what a commission. How does Moses react?
With total self-doubt. Who am I, he asks. I'm nobody. How can I possibly do this? It's very human.
Understandable, given he fled Egypt as a fugitive.
And God reveals his personal name, Jehovah. Jehovah has sent me to you, he tells Moses to say. This is my name forever. It signifies God's active presence, his commitment.
But Moses is still worried. Will the Israelites even believe him?
So God gives him signs, miracles to perform. His shepherd's staff turns into a snake, then back again.
His hand becomes leprous, white as snow, then instantly healed.
God promises a third sign too, if needed, turning Nile water into blood. Assures Moses they will believe these signs.
So, equipped with this divine authority, Moses finally agrees, says goodbye to his father-in-law Jethro.
And heads back to Egypt, back to face Pharaoh, ready to fulfill this incredible, daunting mission.
What a journey we've covered. From Abraham leaving Ur to Joseph in Egypt, now Moses heading back there. Generations of faith, trials, destiny.
It really is epic. And you see how these individual lives, their choices, their faith, their struggles, it all weaves together.
It's like a tapestry, isn't it? Each story adds a thread to this much bigger picture God is unfolding.
Exactly. And digging into the details, you see the connections, the recurring themes, the enduring lessons. It's not just ancient history.
So for you listening, maybe think about this. How do the challenges, the unexpected turns, even the seemingly impossible things in your own life?
Yeah. How might those be part of a bigger picture that you're maybe only just starting to grasp?
Definitely something to ponder.
Huh?
Join us next time for another deep dive.